What is happening, people? I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to go through the best sales structure that you can put in place on your model's accounts to make you over 100k a month. And this is exactly what has made us over 112k in the last month. As you can see, I'm refreshing it up here, scrolling down. As you can see, 93k in messages, 15k in subscriptions, and 4k in tips. Just refresh one more time for you haters. And here we go. This is pretty much what we have put in place for most of our accounts to get the most amount of money possible. And it's the sales process that I've come up with which I've basically found works the best out of all of my months that I was chatting when I first started this business. So there's a few different sections of the sales process. As you can see, it's one of the sections is conversation, one's free content, and one's paid content. So the conversation is obviously just normal typing. And then these two are where we're actually going to be adding media, so the images and videos, to the messages. So, general conversation. A lot of people ask me, what is general conversation? Now, general conversation is like building rapport, right? So building the relationship with the subscriber. Because if we act like a complete salesman on the chats, the subscribers aren't going to want to buy. The subscribers like a relationship being built with them. And therefore, we have to build a relationship. So here's a few ways which we can basically build that relationship in the first section of the conversation. So these are all steps of the conversation, by the way. So this is step one. At every conversation, it should begin with this. Step two, step three. This is how a conversation should be structured. So pretty much, new subs. We want to ask all of the questions, like, what do you do for work, by the way? And then he might say, oh, I'm a fisherman. And then we can go in depth about that. Oh, that's awesome. Do you enjoy your job? Where are you from, by the way? If he says where he's from, you could be like, oh, do you enjoy it there, babe? What's good to do around there? Ask him about his daily life and his personal life, because a lot of models on OF don't do that. And because it's the agencies, right? It's the agencies that are fucking it up. But if you literally build relationships with them like this, they're going to want to buy so much more because they think the model is actually into them. And that's what's going to make them spend the money, right? What do you do what do you enjoy doing for fun? And then when you're in a conversation with them, you've already asked all these questions. What have you been up to lately? Have you been working? What time do you finish? Do you have any plans later? These are all ways that you can build rapport and build a relationship. And all of these questions that we're asking here will lead on to other conversation where you can just go off in so many directions, build that relationship as strong as possible, and just make a shit ton of money. So that is the section one of the conversation. It should last about 10 messages, so 5 messages each. So 5 messages from the subscriber and 5 messages from us, the chatters, right? So that should last about 10 messages. Next, we've got transitioning to sexual conversation. Now, the reason why this is so important is because we always want the subscriber to initiate the sexual conversation. So this document basically explains exactly how you would transition to the sexual conversation. So we always want to remain in the power position, right? So when we're transitioning from a general conversation to dirty talking, we always want the customer to initiate. So initiating could be him saying, oh, you look so hot, or I wish I was there with you right now. That's initiating. And as soon as he does that, we can move on to dirty talking, which is 6 messages combined. So 3 messages each. Once we've done some dirty talking, we can then go in for the first sell. And now I've put here, ask a question or make it intriguing. Now, what I mean by ask a question is, what would you do if you walked in on me doing something this naughty for you right now? Now, do you see with that question, he has to unlock the PPV to be able to answer that question. Otherwise, he can't answer it. So it's almost just like assuming that the customer is going to answer the question. And that's why it's so good, because they want to carry on the conversations, right? So, it just works really well for making them open it. So, next, we then have another dirty talk section. We have full docs here for the chatters to use, like full docs of like dirty talk, etc. I'm not going to go through that on YouTube. Then we've got second cell, and then we've got dirty talk, and then we've got third cell. And then this goes on and on and on and on until pretty much the customer stops buying, right? If he says, for example, oh, this is getting too much, then we'll slow down because we want to retain the customer. We want to build that relationship. But if he says it's too much right at the start, we can use some of these docs down here. So what to do if a customer doesn't buy, what to do if he only wants nude and the model's non-nude, what to do if he's a time waster. So let's just go through one of these quick. So what to do if a customer doesn't buy. Situation 1, if he ignores the PPV but carries on dirty talking, we can match his vibes by saying this. I'm not going to say this out loud, but by saying this, and then saying at the end, see what I sent you. If he carries on dirty talking but still ignore it, then we can use a line like this, but baby, you still haven't seen what I made for you. You don't want to see me. Now, there's a couple more situations on here, but if you want the docs, just join the Discord and you can have them. So, yeah, that is pretty much the best sales process that you can put on your accounts. You know, the main things to take away from this is definitely add a lot of rapport building at the start. And the transition into sexual conversation is very, very important. And you're probably thinking, right, what prices should I have on these pieces of content? So usually we go 15, 25, 45. And from this point onwards, you can kind of gauge where the customer is at. And if you want to sell another one, literally just use your own discretion. Be like, right, is it going to be too much for him? Because you don't want to price it too high where he's like, fuck, this girl's just trying to rob my money. And you don't want to price it too low where he thinks all of the content is going to be that cheap. So there is a sweet spot, which throughout the conversation you can definitely gauge and see sort of where he is at with the, where his mind is basically at, if that makes sense. But yeah, that is the best process to use. If you do want the doc, join the Discord and join the Telegram as well. And if you want to learn from me personally, then we're also doing a mentorship program where we're basically helping guys scale from anywhere from 0 to 20K plus a month. So yeah, I hope that video helped and you take care.